Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Taliba Set, my Pia Hawachapi, and I wanted to take some time to sit down and speak to you all about self mastery, personal responsibility, and boundary as it relates to relationships. I put a post up maybe about 2 days ago to ask you guys what you thought would be great topics for me to address in the upcoming year. And many of you said things like relationships, sex, the normal things that everybody's wondering about. I know there's a big interest now in twin flame relationships, soulmate relationships. There's this big, always has been for women especially, this big thing of finding a marriage partner, a life partner, and sharing your life with someone. So relationships are really, really great topic to talk about because it's something that's on everyone's mind. I had the opportunity today to speak to a young man who was expressing his interest in his mother and the fact that he is concerned about her being in a toxic relationship and how he sees her suffer in that relationship. And then for himself, him being a shy guy and a nice guy, and having the question at the young age of 21 of why it is that nice guys seem to always be alone. And so that indicates to me that yes, relationships are a big issue and it's on something that's on everybody's mind and heart right now. And I wonder, how many of you have ever considered the fact that having successful relationship with another person is very, very, very connected to the level of your relationship with yourself. And so self-mastery is something that you definitely would want to achieve if you have any hopes of having successful relationships, be it relationships at work or interpersonal relationships or relationships with a spouse or a mate or a lover, or even just relationships in your family with your children, with your parents, with your siblings and other kin, and relationships with your friends. These are all relationships, and the fact of the matter is the same skills work in relationships no matter what the relationship dynamic is. And so self-mastery is very important because if you have not come to a point where you master yourself, there's no way that you will ever master a relationship with anyone outside of yourself. And to give you an example, a real world example of what self-mastery actually is and how important it is in your life, not just in your relationships, just in your life in general. If you've ever been to a mall or any big place and you've ever wanted to find your way around, you go and find a directory. And when you look at the directory, the very first thing you have to find, no matter what directory it is, no matter where it is, you have to find the little dot that says you are here. The reason that dot is there and reason it is so pronounced in the map is because if you have not ascertained where you are in relation to everything else around you, then it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter where everything else is if you don't know where you are. So you won't know, even if I tell you, well, the store Hot Topic is to your left. If you don't know you're to the right of it, there's no point in me telling you it's to your left. So you cannot navigate the terrain if you have not come to an awareness or understanding of who you are, of where you are, and of what you are in relation to everything else in the universe. And everything else in the universe also includes every other living being, because a relationship, just put simply, is relating to someone else, and you can't relate to anything outside of you if you haven't mastered your relationship with yourself. It just does not work. Another thing about self-mastery in relationships is self-mastery allows you to be able to accept personal responsibility. I will not I could not even begin to count how many times I've said in my life, in my past, and how many times I've heard a relationship ends and it's all one person's fault. It never is one person's fault. And the reason why is because there's a level of personal responsibility that comes into play in any time you're dealing with anything. Because everything in your life, no matter what it is, and I know this is going to sound pretty harsh, many of you already know this, but everything in your life, everything that happens is attracted to you by you. No matter what it is, you will attract everything that is on the vibrational frequency that you're on. So a lot of times you guys attract relationships. You say, well, I don't want this kind of relationship, but I keep getting this kind of relationship. Is because you are attracting it. You can't attract anything above where you're vibrating. So there's a responsibility there to raise your vibration. If you want something better, raise your vibration so that you'll attract something better. You can't attract something better if you don't vibrate better. It just doesn't happen. The personal responsibility also allows you not to lay blame. There's a giving up of power in laying blame. When you blame someone else for your circumstance, basically what you're saying is, okay, well, my circumstance such that it is can only be changed if such and such does this certain thing that I need them to do. Well, if they never decide to do that, which you can't control if they do or not, so if they never decide to fix your situation, then your situation can't be fixed. However, if you say to yourself or anyone else, well, this happened and it's a very unfortunate situation, but I contributed to the situation in this way. And then what you're doing then is saying, okay, well, if I contributed to it this way, I can also contribute to it in that way and change the outcome, because now I'm responsible for it. I have control of it and I can change it. And so there's a great deal of power in accepting blame or accepting responsibility for your circumstance. When you're talking about your relationships and personal responsibility, you're also personally responsible for the welfare of your boundary. And boundary is what you use to regulate how close someone is able to get to you. So you have levels of relationships and you have ways of dealing with people that is really, that's going to allow you to either be hurt or not be hurt, or be vulnerable or not be vulnerable. There's a great Mary J. Blige song in it. She says, saying I love you is giving you strength to break my heart, but I'm trusting you not to. So what she's saying is, I do realize that allowing you on the inside of my boundary is giving you the power to do great damage to me, but I'm trusting that you will not do it. I'm choosing to trust that. Well, if you do decide to break my heart, then I will have to choose how I deal with that, because even when you allow someone in your boundary, you can't control what they're going to do. All you can do is trust that they will do or won't do what you desire, but at the end of the day, you can't control what that person does. So boundary allows you to say, okay, well, I know I want this or that in my life, or I don't want this or that in my life. So you take your boundary and you regulate. Well, when you have a very weak boundary, you have to constantly be validated from the outside, and you will start to use parts of your pure self and parts of your being, and you will start to compromise those things in order to get that validation. So that puts you in a very dangerous position when it comes to relationships, because you'll come to a point where you want to be in a relationship so bad, or you want to be validated by someone or completed by someone so badly that you will start to say, well, I'll do anything for you to love me, or please don't do this, or please don't do that. Instead of saying, okay, this is what I would like to happen in the relationship. I would like for us to work on this together. But if you choose not to work on it with me, I reserve the right to choose to leave the relationship, even if I will miss you, even if I know I'll be alone for a while. I'd rather take the time to be alone. I'd rather go through the hurt. I'd rather get over it than to stay here and keep allowing you to hurt me over and over again, because at some point you're going to do even more damage to me than if you just hurt me one time. I decide that if we're not going to work it out, you're not going to do what I want done, or we're not going to come to an agreement, then I choose to leave because it's healthy for me and it's healthy for you. And that is the essence of a relationship that is a love relationship that is not codependent. I didn't want this video to be too much longer than 10 minutes. I am now at 10 minutes and 55 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video now. I will be making other videos in the very near future. I love you all. I will you all love, light, and abundant life. You guys have a great night and rest of the week.